Hey everyone, Lounger Chris here. Symbiote Spider-Man in the background, of course, because this week we are talking King in Black, issue number 1.
The Avengers. That's what we call ourselves. Earth's mightiest heroes.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
So, welcome to the Comics Lounge. If you are just joining us, this is our third episode of King in Black and us talking about the series that is the Symbiote God-led series. One that is just truly beyond words. So, this week came out 3 different parts of this series. First, we had the Union, King in Black. That's just one little piece. So I'm going to leave it over here for right now. We're not focused on that in this episode. And we also have Knull, number 1. Then we have King in Black. So I picked up 2 covers this week. The white variant and the black variant. I absolutely loved how this cover looked. So this is just absolutely amazing. Definitely a really cool Knull, Venom, Death vibe. And let's get into it. So I'm going to put this one off to the side, and we will see what happens in the King in Black, issue number 1. So we start off with Eddie Brock talking to the Avengers in Avengers Mountain, and he's basically just letting them know, and he's directly talking to Captain America, saying the evacuation needs to start. We need to get this rolling. So Eddie knows what's coming. He alerts all of the Avengers, changes into Venom, and basically allows Venom to call the shots in a way for this, as all of the Avengers get notified. Then we fast forward to Brock talking to his son, kind of saying, hey, I do not want to get him involved, but at the same time, I know that I'm going to have to keep him safe. He didn't want to wake him, but eventually he decides to. And Dylan says he can feel it too. He knows what's coming. We then go to Avengers Mountain. Tony, Captain America, She-Hulk, Iron Man, Captain Marvel, basically showing that they've set up this trap for Knull when he gets here. All of these ships rigged to explode, and of course them making a joke that basically Tony is still stuck in his ways of building bombs. And truly, I mean, let's think about it. He really is. In some sense, he's all about saving the world, but doing so with weapons that he can pull the trigger on and no one else can. So we fast forward to, or not really fast forward, but we move to this wave. This first wave of dragons, symbiote dragons, coming through, and this is where it kind of gets interesting. They start crashing into the bombs, and immediately Tony, with this very ominous look on his face, says fire. And obviously fire is one of the only things that can hurt symbiotes, and wham, just completely destroys. If you're wondering what that noise is in the background, that's my dog playing with his bone. So, you know, is what it is, right? So obviously that didn't work, and Dylan, Venom, and Eddie can all kind of feel it. Dylan obviously doesn't feel it as much, but Venom and Eddie definitely know what just happened. And Venom says to Eddie, Eddie, do you feel it? It wasn't. And Eddie immediately knows it didn't work. It didn't even slow them down. And the Avengers say, well, only 100, if that, were affected. And we back out to this ominous scene of New York City. and written in the sky, "The King in Black." This is probably one of the coolest images I've ever seen. And as we know, one of the main artists of this is Stegman, and I mean, this is just beyond beautiful artistry. You've got the water, the fire, the symbiotes all converging into the city. You've got the Avengers. If you look closely, you've got the Fantastic Four right here, poking its head in here. It leads into a lot, and this is actually the only time that we're going to see the Fantastic Four in this issue, which leads me to believe that they are going to play a much bigger role to drop them like that. And again, that's actually something I didn't even notice until just now. So then we get to this bunker where Eddie's basically dropping Dylan off and saying, I know that Knull wants me. I know that you are safe if you're here. I hope to see you again. I promise that I would protect you. And it all leaves off with him telling him that he loves him. And Cap saying to Brock, we need a plan B. And of course, Eddie, feeling everything that just happened, he knows. So we're fighting this battle on 3 fronts now. You've got these guys on the ground, the Avengers, battling with other heroes. So you see a few other heroes, mostly lightning-based. First wave is ground. Cap has assembled an evacuation team of street-level heroes with a focus on electricity-based powers, because obviously we know from past issues that Knull is pretty much his only weakness is electricity. Obviously, the other symbiotes, the Venom symbiote especially, is very weak when it comes to being around fire and loud noises. But Knull is a little bit different. His major weakness is electricity. So obviously, if the first wave is on the ground, the second wave is going to be in the air. And this is where we kind of fast forward to these two, Charles Xavier and Storm, being a major player in this issue. So Storm, obviously with her lightning, is a huge asset, especially since the second wave is in the air, and we find out right about now that Thor is not coming. Surely a god of thunder would be helpful, but I may suggest a goddess of... And then Storm interrupts him. So we've got Cyclops, we've got some very notable X-Men. It looks like you got Cable there, obviously. You've got Wolverine playing a major role. Storm's in the background. You've got Nightcrawler. There's just so many things happening in this book. So this is only the second wave. So we went through wave 1 right here to wave 2 in the air, and now we're on to the third phase. And this is Knull's chair, basically. This was the way that they connected to him in the Carnage series, the Absolute Carnage, and the way that Venom connected, the way that Venom is going to try to connect to the Hive and see if he can put a stop to this. So he knows. Knull finds us immediately and chokes us to death with our own symbiote. Either way, we know that we have to try. So basically, their whole goal is to make their own army using this chair the way that Carnage did. So we move up to here, and we notice that Venom is taking it, is kind of being manhandled right now by this chair. And Eddie can talk to Doctor Strange, and Doctor Strange is losing his own battle right now. Eddie letting them know to run. Doctor Strange obviously not being able to handle everything that's being thrown at him. So pretty much we're watching a losing battle right now, and then this happens. So I mean, the looks on their faces right here. What am I looking at? Tony, can you hear me? It's Eddie. You have to get out of there. This is how it started before the symbiotes, before the dragons. Knull's very first enemies were the Celestials. And now it seems as though they've settled the score. So basically, the Celestials are on Knull's side. Because if we notice, coming out of this Celestial, who can it be but Knull himself? I see my reputation precedes me, so I won't waste your time. So of course, we need a grand entrance of the King in Black, plainly letting them know he's going to kill Earth, and then letting them know, in the meantime, I am looking for a human named Brock. So bring him to me. This can be as painless and as quick as I am capable. That is all. So Knull truly letting us know that his one goal is to have Brock in his possession, most likely to get the Venom symbiote back. Or is there something else at play here? Let's find out. So as we see, Venom nowhere to be found on this page, but Knull coming face to face with the Avengers and having absolutely no idea who they are, which is actually kind of interesting because even Thanos did his homework and knew who the Avengers were, knew who Tony Stark was, and Knull is just this being who doesn't care. It's actually a very different take on a villain to just kind of know I am better than everyone else, and I don't care who I come into contact with, I know that I can do this. So, basically, Tony lets Cap know that he has a lock on the big gun and he's inbound. 10 seconds. He's here and awaiting your orders, Cap. Permission to engage. Permission granted. So who could this be? Very ominous picture of Knull right here. And we zoom out to see none other than Sentry. So Sentry being the one who killed Carnage in the Absolute Carnage series, also known by Bob. And Knull just basically takes him on a ride. So Knull tells him there's no need for any of that. My horde has memory of you. You once killed the one called Carnage. Now, let me introduce myself. And again, Knull pretty much just rips Sentry to shreds, truly showing his almighty power. Child, I am Knull, Lord of the Abyss. Cap is just in awe. Tony is just can't even believe it. Truly an amazing power shown through all of this. Wiping out in half a second the one who destroyed Carnage. And I have to say, I love the way that Ryan Stegman draws the face of Knull to look dark as can be. And yet, it seems as though it's over, but it's just begun. This is only issue 1, so let's just kind of dive into this real quick. So, at this point, Sentry's gone. The Avengers have pretty much accepted defeat because that one chance they had is gone. Spider-Man shows up, and Cap tells him to get out and get help. And all of the Avengers, the X-Men who were in the city on the ground, are just getting sucked in by the symbiote fluid that Knull is controlling. This sky of yours, no more distractions. No more of your sun. And this is where the King in Black lets darkness and abyss reign. This is just probably one of the most amazing and most eerie pictures of this entire issue. The fact that Knull completely covered this planet, Earth, in symbiote, just a shade, is amazing. It shows power, it shows just BA, him being a BAMF, and just shows that pretty much he has no limit to his power right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they are able to defeat him. So we continue to have Storm trying to use lightning to destroy the dragons and battle Knull. And obviously she's one of the only lights left in the world. And Knull basically encompasses her. And as she says, it's just completely hopeless to continue to fight. And both Tony and Xavier lose contact. Eddie Brock, I swear to God, you two better have some good news for me, or I am going to... We know it's bad, but we're going to try something. So Eddie gets up, puts the Venom suit on, completely again. You ready? Yes, Eddie. I can reach out directly to him. It's going to hurt. I know. But must be done, Eddie. Yes. Only way. And I mean, this just... Look at this. It's amazing to see Venom in this state. So basically what's going to happen right now is Venom is going to go meet Knull, Eddie and Venom, and Eddie says to Venom, last dance, partner. You ready? Yes, Eddie. All right, then. And you see this absolutely amazing image. Dragons in the background, that swirling eye in the background, Venom with the red eyes, and Venom saying to Eddie, let's go meet our maker. So obviously Knull, knowing what just happened, takes Venom and brings him to the skies. See? Do you see how beautiful the dark is? With still so much light to kill, but already... Please, just take me. It doesn't have to be this way. Wait a second. So Knull finally recognizes that Eddie and Venom are one, and he thought that he killed him. So he's kind of in shock right now, but is what it is. One of his dragons must have killed him, but that obviously didn't happen. So, minds are funny that way, I suppose. I do apologize, there's been a bit of a confusion. What are you talking about? You said. And this is where it all gets important. I should have specified which Brock. I mean, if that doesn't send chills up your spine, it did immediately when I read it. And this is Venom being ripped away from Eddie, and Knull saying, please, or Venom saying to Knull, please take me. No. I will take my child from you, and then I will take yours. But I'm afraid I don't have much use for your host. And issue 1 leaves off with Eddie falling back to the ground. where symbiotes reign, without a symbiote to be had. So that's where Donny Cates leaves off Reign, Chapter 1, and truly, I mean, this is just a phenomenal book, phenomenal artwork by Ryan Stegman. I'm definitely very curious to see what is going to happen next. I'm definitely curious to read the Union and see what's going to happen in there. And just honestly, it's a very ominous book, one that speaks to both Ryan Stegman's artwork and Donny Cates' writing. And truly, I don't know that without all of the support or lack thereof from the Avengers, the X-Men, the Ground Attack, the Air Attack, and then Venom trying to connect to the Hive, the Celestials being on Knull's side. I mean, all of this coming together is just rather amazing. So, I don't know, once again, how I can even say this, but at the end of the day, with all of that being said, and everything that just happened in this book, we have to wait 3 weeks. I hope that for 3 weeks, between this issue and issue number 2, you can keep it casual. Make sure you subscribe to the tie-ins on previews. Go to your local comic book shop and support them. If you have not already liked this video and subscribed to our channel, hit that subscribe button and just let us know in the comments what you think is going to happen next, where you think this is all going to go, and what role do you think the Celestials are going to play? What role do you think the Fantastic Four are going to play? I mean, this image alone with them right here and then they're never mentioned was very interesting to me. So again, hope you have a wonderful day whenever you're watching this, whether it's day, night, anything. Have a good one. Keep it casual.